the God of Destruction versus Chakravartin the Creator is an utter annihilation, and the gap was never close to begin with. To start off, Chakravartin scales above Wizen as he took a lot of monster reserves, as this puts him at least planetary, as he's as big as planet Gaia, which the calcs put him at least large planetary. He also scales above Deos as he merged the Karma Fortress, as he also kept up with Yasha and Six-Armed Astra, which this calc would put him at the very least large star level. Chakravartin also scales above Vitra as it states that his power is limitless, as he can get this up to high universal. Funny enough, Chakravartin in his base form overpowered base Astra, Mantra Astra, and Yasha with ease. And I forgot to mention that Chakravartin dwarfs solar systems and galaxies. He was also sucking the entire Milky Way into himself as well. He also fires planets and stars casually at Asura. So, this would easily get Chakravartin at multi-solar system and multi-galaxy levels of power. But as I mentioned before, there are characters who Chakravartin scales above who stated to have limitless and immeasurable power, as they're both similar to the word infinite. Chakravartin also has created and destroyed entire universes. As stated, he was disappointed in Asura's powers when they first met. What surprised me a lot, a lot of people think that Asura's wrath isn't universal, at all, which is pretty stupid if you ask me. For more consistency, when Chakravartin in his final form was fighting against Asura, he repeats that he created the universe more times over in the past. If you want more consistency, Naraka was stated to be endless, as well as Asura claws his way throughout the darkness and climbs up the pillars, which are stated to be endless, also for a synonym for infinite. So all of this will get this much higher into infinite 3D, aka high universal. But you're all wondering why all this alone is higher into universal. It's because you need to destroy separate spacetimes to become something of universal plus, aka fourth dimensional. But luckily, there is proof, as the statement says, when Asura and Chakravartin were battling, the very fabric of time and space is coming apart. So this is at least around universal plus. And since it's also stated several times he created the universe several times, as he always done in history, and the world in this context does mean universe, as it also follows Buddhism, as the word means universe. And Chakravartin in his creative form in his final fight against Asura was able to alter this dimension, which is as big as Naraka, which has infinite walls that Asura climbed. Chakravartin also has implied to create the other world, as Chakravartin wanted Asura as his new vessel, as for him to travel to the other world so that he can spread his guidance. This will get him into the low multiversal levels of power. If you want to highball it, since he did say he created the world many times, as this will highball into multiversal, aka higher into 4D, since he's stated to be around at least 13,000 years old. So this can at least be some potential multiversal scaling. As for speed, Chakravartin is at least billions of times into massively faster than light, plus as their idol can fire mantra beams that were able to cross cosmic distances in seconds, and was throwing celestial bodies towards Asura at many light years away. And Chakravartin in his creator form literally is faster than this, as this gives him travel, combat, and reaction speeds as well. There is higher speed measures which gives them infinite speed stuff, as to which Asura did climb the infinite ladder, and Naraka is infinite in size as well. And Chakravartin also scales above this as well, since he created the world, basically. And you can also argue immeasurable speed, since Chakravartin implies they can travel to other worlds, meaning there are possible timelines in the verse. Now let's get on to his abilities. He can manipulate his own size, which he was small as a large golden spider, up until being as large as multiple galaxies. He also can resist radiation, since he is literally chilling in space. He can also cross dimensions, since he can travel between the boundaries of Naraka and the real world, and even to other worlds arguably. He also has clairvoyance and fate manipulation, since he knows every event that has passed, and he can also alter the events as well. He also has telepathy, since he filled Asura on what's happened, and can also speak through Minthra's subconsciousness. He also has energy manipulation and bestow, since he is the creator and embodiment of the mantra from players and emotions, which exist in large quantities of souls within every living being. As in the verse, mantra is basically their energy and power. He also has soul, life, and death manipulation via mantra, equals souls, as he controls and rules over Naraka and created it with the entire world between life and death. And Chakravartin is also said to be the embodiment of the wheel of life, which gives him conceptual and abstract stuff as well. He can also use threads and possess people, as he uses golden strength to possess others, even Mithra, as he took over her body before using her as a vessel. He can also corrupt things like Planet Gaia, feeling his rage and having it give birth to Goma Viltra. He also has social influencing, as he manipulated Asura when his soul was in Naraka, simulating his rage through his quest. He also has inorganic physiology, as his body seems to possess the properties of mantra constructs. He also has 22 arms, which he can use all of them at the same time. He can use energy manipulation, flight, teleportation. He can also BFR his opponents, as he sends Asura's real self at the event Horizon, which is a dimension of their own making, which exists inside Golden Chakravartin. And he also manipulates this dimension, which also gives him reality warping abilities. He can also transform. He also has martial arts, since he was able to match Asura many times. He can also time stop for an instant when he's usually shifting to hit an opponent blindside or get out of inevitable danger. He can also erase you from existence, as it states he was planning to erase Asura from reality. Now, for the other opponent, Beerus, as he casually destroys planets as his food didn't taste good, or some random monsters tries to annoy him with the simplest things. But we don't need to go over this, since even earlier characters in OG Dragon Ball can scale to large planetary. So let's go over some relevant scaling, shall we? In Battle of Gods, Beerus and Super Saiyan God Goku was stated that they were going to destroy the entire universe when they kept clashing over and over again, which gets this to at least universal with the criminals of downplay, as you can get this much higher, as there are separate infinite sized dimensions in the macrocosm, and each of them have their own space times as well, which easily gets this into the low multi levels of power. There is a higher argument for the universe 7 macrocosm to be higher, since the afterlife is said to be a higher dimension, which transcends the regular 4th dimensional realms, which is stated to be infinite in size, which this puts the macrocosm to be at 5D, as there is also more supporting evidence of this, as Beerus and the other gods' destruction power were stated to transcend dimensions as well, and there's also more evidence as Goku and Beerus battle was stated to be a super dimensional, as there is more consistency for 5D Beerus. And in the manga, he would also scale to the likes of Broly and Gogeta, as they broke through, move around, and destroyed that dimension they were in, which is said to be super dimensional several times. Also, the kanji used here explicitly refers to higher dimensional spaces, as both Gogeta and Broly broke through the dimensional boundary, as being unable to withstand their energy and splitting asunder. And as for anybody trying to disprove this, the movie themselves stated they were going to create higher dimensional imagery using CGI. Also, Gogeta questions all of this while finding Broly in that dimensional space in the movie. So keep on coping. Just keep coping. It's funny. He also scales to current Goku and company, who's gotten at least many times stronger. And Beerus in the manga scales to the likes of Black Frieza, who stated that its transformation is immeasurable. In context, it has similar work to Infinite and Endless, which can get Beerus to Infinite 5D. He also scales above the likes of Gas, who's said to be nigh invincible. His durability is around the same level as his AP, since most Dragon Ball characters' attacks scale to their durability. Now as for speed, Beerus easily scales above characters who are very high into mastery faster than light plus. At the very least, since Goku and Beerus cross the entirety of the infinite macrocosm with their sheer speed and clashes, which gets this into septillions all the way up into quintillions of times massively faster than light. And in Dragon Ball, the more power you have, the faster you are as well. As I put a link in the description, as the counts of Dragon Ball Super can get way high into trillion times MFTO plus, if not higher. But there is much higher speed metas as they can get into infinite speed, as they can cross several infinite distances, not with just their speed, but also with their energy as well, making all this layers into infinite speed. You can also get Beerus higher to inaccessible and immeasurable amounts of speed as he scales above base Goku in the Goku Black Saga, and Goku was able to move in that race timeline and snatch Zeno from that timeline, and also was able to move in the world of Void, which has no time nor space within it. Immeasurables, as for the immeasurable speed stuff, Jiren was stated to transcend time itself, as this would mean no regular speed can perceive this. And since Beerus is 5D, this will automatically make him immeasurable. And you can scale the Universe 6 tournament to immeasurable as well, as stated that Goku uses Kaioken on top of Blue to force his way into the future, aka Blissing hits time hacks perception. So you can argue this to be the case, even though the argument is a bit iffy, so take it how you will, I guess. Now, to go over Beerus' abilities, everyone in the verse has Ki, which targets the mind, body, and the soul. And Ki can also destroy things on an atomic level, and even on a quantum level as well. Everybody in the verse can sense energy, as this is very common, which can be argued to have cosmic awareness, but Beerus' cosmic awareness is on another level, as he can sense energy from other timelines and can sense murderous intent from others. He can easily survive radiation, as he survives his flights through space just chilling. He can also chill in water without any issue. He can regenerate as he quickly heals from the cut from Goku. He can use his tail in combat, aka bodily weaponry. He can use martial arts, as he was able to combat, even outskill Goku in some occasions, who has tons of martial arts experience. He also has instinctive action and reaction, as he used Ultra Instinct before in the manga, but he hasn't quite mastered it yet. Lots of Dragon Ball characters can create force fields, as Beerus does it himself in his superhero movie. Beerus can obviously fly like almost all Dragon Ball characters can. He was able to seal Elder Kai in the Z-Sword. He can use Existence Eraser via his Akai, as he can erase souls, existence, even intangible ghosts like Dr. Menshiro. Heck, even in concepts via Infinite Zamasu's statement of being an abstract concept of justice and order, as he even merged with them as well. Hakai can also be argued on a narrative level as well, since it's stated that Araly's gag and narrative powers won't work on him at all, as the Hakai was about to erase Araly from existence, and that same Araly was able to survive erasure on a narrative level. And yet the Hakai is simply stronger. Hakai can also warp reality and the world of Void, which is easily reality warping and void manipulation. And also non-existence, as the world of Void was stated to be of nothingness. Also, the power of destruction is capable of destroying things on a space-time continuum level, as well as destroying universes along with their individual history. Beerus also used the Hakai and Zamasu across space and time without splitting the timeline at all. The only reason Goku Black and future Zamasu survived is that those time rings can resist those powers. He also has a causality, as gods do not follow logic. When a god affects another god, it won't cause the timeline to split. And he can also resist BFR via scaling above Super Buu, who can create dimensional rifts with his energy. He also has clairvoyance, as his premonition of Super Saiyan God came true. He can power null attacks, as he nullified Goku's aura and ki. He can resist empathy, as Rip Ren's attacks with her aroma would have anybody stepping for her. So with all that being said, who wins this fight? Well, the answer is so obvious. It's Beerus. The gap in AP is crazy. Even if you want to wank Chakravartin around Multiversal Plus, if you want to argue that he lived for an uncountable amount of years, as this also means he created the world over and over again on an infinite amount of times, that is still nothing in comparison to Beerus, which he's at 5D to infinite 5D with his highest scaling. And the speed won't help much either because Chakravartin has only one layer into measurable with a high ball, while Beerus has a couple of ways to get into measurable as well. Chakravartin's hacks will give him some sideshow, but unfortunately for our counterfeit Buddhist god, Beerus has hacks of his own as well, and even if you want to say Chakravartin can resist his own erasure, which is debatable, Beerus has ways to get around this since his Hakai can work on a narrative level as well. And it's also stated that Hakai won't work on other gods' destructions too, so there you go. And before you mention Chakravartin's time stop, they definitely work on Beerus since he scales above Champa, as in Universe 6 tournament, Champa was going to destroy everyone else there, including Hit, and Hit was fearing for his life even if he wanted to use his time hacks. Chakravartin wouldn't stand a chance even in the hacks department. Beerus just resists most if not all of them, and erases Chakravartin's very existence, even in equalized stats. Beerus wins. Low to 0 difficulty.
Hakai. Not to be.